Hello, Tech Pros, episode 207. Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week, we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to be here on Thursday. Technology Thursday, one of the most exciting days of the week for me because it's one of the most engaging days on the podcast downloads. So many of you guys love Technology Thursday and Entrepreneurship Saturday. Those are the two most popular downloaded episodes if I aggregate all of the different 7 days a week together. Saturday has the highest, Thursday has the next to highest. So I love Technology Thursdays, and I've got a very controversial topic to talk about today. Today we're going to be talking about the technology stack that most tech pros fail to master in their startup. Now, today is a very special day because it's day 4 in our series on how to start your very first business as a technical professional. Or if you've already started your own business or you're a serial entrepreneur, you know what? There's going to be a lot of great information in here for you as well. If you want to follow along, please follow along to follow up with all 7 of the episodes in the podcast, and most importantly, the email companion course that goes along with the podcast. In every day, every podcast that comes out, there's another email that comes out with homework that goes with the podcast. And I go into a lot more detail in the emails about what and why and how, go into a lot more specifics, and then give you some homework. And then I will actually hold you accountable to completing the homework. You know, there's a lot of entrepreneurs. I've been a entrepreneur for many, many years before launching Hello Tech Pros because I wanted to start a business. I listened to so many stinking podcasts, and I read so many blogs, and I bought a ton of books on entrepreneurship, and I never actually committed myself to, you know what, I'm doing this whatever it takes, and I'm going to actually take action, not just write a little code, not just read another article, not just listen to another podcast, but I'm going to actually build a business, and I'm going to put together a framework. I'm going to use bits and pieces of other people's frameworks, and I'm going to stitch them together, and I'm going to launch my thing. And, Hello Tech Pros has been the first thing that I've actually seriously launched other than a failed startup 15 years ago, where I had one client. It was a business. I had one client. I got paid about $15,000 over the course of a year, which was, not bad money. I mean, I was very grateful to have it, but I failed on so many levels because I just sat in my apartment and I wrote some code, and I failed in just so many levels. The biggest one is that, the technology stacks that I was worried about back when I was a software developer, and I had this little, it was not really a side hustle. I was kind of treating it like a side hustle because I wasn't working on it full time, even though it was supposed to be my full-time job. I took advantage of the fact that, hey, I'm at home and I'm working for myself and I can be my own boss and blah, blah, blah. And I was a horrible employee. But besides being a horrible employee, I was thinking like a tech pro. I was thinking like a software developer, and I was worried about a lot of different technology stacks. Hey, I'm just kind of newbie on Java. I need to get to expert level in Java. This .NET thing is coming out. Oh my gosh, I got to learn this .NET thing. It's going to be huge. I got to get into that. I'm supporting this client that has a website over here in PHP. I need to help them out in that. I'm not very good at it, but I can come up to speed. And I spent so many hours, hundreds and hundreds, and probably close to thousands of hours working on tech stacks that didn't change anything. It didn't add any value to my business. It didn't bring in any more customers. And so, I got to thinking the other day about all of the technical professional software developers and server admins and architects and just across the board, so many different people that I've worked with and that have try to create a side business, try to create some service or some product on the side of their 9-to-5 job, or left their 9-to-5 job to try to pursue some business. And the ones that succeeded, I've noticed after catching up with them that they were really, really good at the tech stack that we're going to talk about today. And the ones that failed were always talking about all the other tech stacks. And I got to wondering, you know what? Why do we still have these debates in every business that I've been in every meetup group that I've been in? There's still the arguments about Ruby versus Python versus JavaScript versus PHP versus Java versus C# and the benefits and the, what's this for and what's that for and why do we want to use this and that and our favorite algorithms and all this kind of crap. And that's great if you just want to write code. Awesome. If you just care about your syntax and you just care about your individual productivity, meaning how much code you can crank out and how much functionality you can build into an app, that's okay. But if you're a startup founder, you need to quit thinking like a technical professional and start thinking like a CEO. You need to stop thinking like a software developer and start thinking like a CEO. You need to stop thinking like a tech geek and start thinking about a CEO, or at the very least, as a salesman, a sales professional, right? Because there's a huge difference in the way these types of different categories of people think, right? So technical professionals, and I'm picking on myself here. If you feel that I'm picking on you, don't. I am picking on the past Chad, and when I say past Chad, I mean, dude, just a few months ago, right? Just a few months ago, like early 2016, like January 2016, and before that, I was all about, I gotta, what's the new stuff that AWS has? All the new features that AWS has, or should I really dive into Python? I've played around with it and I can hack a couple of things together, but I feel like I really need to learn it in order to build my next thing. No, I don't. Objective-C, I used to learn it. I used to know it a long time ago, and I built several apps. I built a Match 3 video game, and I built a tower defense game, and I built some other kind of utility apps, and they never saw the light of day because I never finished them because I was too embarrassed about, like the usability and the UX and just can it scale and how many bugs are there, and it just, fell apart. And I constantly worried about the technology. And I'm here to tell you that if you have that opinion or if you have that history, then you're working on the wrong thing. You're thinking about the wrong thing. There's a completely different tech stack that you need to be thinking about, and that is the stack of the customer engagement stack. The customer engagement stack. So what I mean by that is there are a suite of not just technologies, but there is a suite of technology and information and process and people that all tie together that brings the customers to the company and have a money transaction, a monetary transaction. And so this stack is the most important thing that you need to be working on as a startup founder. If you are the startup founder, it's not about the cool, slick algorithms that are in your app. That may be a piece of the product that you're serving to your customers, but the stack you need to put a lot of consideration in, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and to master if you want your business to grow and you want your business to scale is the customer engagement stack. So in this stack that I'm going to talk about, a lot of people have different definitions. I haven't found like a single definition that really describes the picture that's in my head and the picture that I've got here on my computer as succinctly as I have it. Because when I've done searches on customer engagement stacks, oh my gosh, I've found so many different things. the CRM, the marketing automation, the customer journeys, advertising technologies, integration, community management, knowledge management, feedback management, gamification, social media, mobile apps, customer intelligence, content management, e-commerce, retail, identity management, learning, change management, strategy, ERPs. Holy cow, this is all mind-boggling. Okay, so I want to boil all of this stuff down into the things that are the most critical for you right now when you're launching your business. When you're first getting your first business started, there's basically 3 steps. There's 3 levels that you need to worry about. So kind of the triad, if you will, of the customer engagement stack. And if you think about it like kind of a pyramid or a triangle where the bottom level are all the people in the world or all the people who know about your brand. That's one level. And then at the very top, at the pinnacle, at the peak are all the sales coming in, right? It's those few people that have actually transitioned from knowing about your brand to giving you money, right? And buying your product, buying your service or whatever. And that's the transaction at the top end. And then in the middle is this middle layer that, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit. And I think especially in the tech world, when we're so used to apps and we're so used to SaaS and we're so used to trying to think about scaling our business, scaling our product, making sure that everything's 5 nines and everything's up and all that kind of stuff. Like we're worrying about the wrong thing. And we might spend a little bit of time on the brand. We might spend a very tiny amount of time on the sales end, and we're not spending near enough time in the middle stack. And so I'm going to touch on each one of these, and I'm kind of hinting. I'm not going to tell you what the middle stack is until a little bit because I don't want to distract you. But first, let's start with the bottom end of that pyramid, and that's the brand. So inside the brand, there's 2 main pieces to focus on, and that is awareness and engagement. Okay, so let's hit each one of these individually. When I say awareness, I mean people discovering and knowing about your brand, not necessarily about, what you've got this offer for $99, but just who are you? What are you? What are you about? Where do they find you? Where do they hear about you? How do they discover you? And so there's a lot of different ways to build awareness for your company. And most of them you can do for free, or there's some of them that you can certainly throw money at it to try to increase it, right? So here are a few examples. Blog posts, right? Many online companies especially say you got to have a blog and you got to post a lot of blog entries, at least once a week. The more articles you get out there, the more followers, like readers, are going to click on your stuff. One of your articles may go viral. You can track all the backlinks and have other people link to your articles from their blogs or their websites. And so you're trying to build awareness of your company via your blogs. You're trying to create awareness of your brand via blogs. Another example is podcasts. This right here. What you're listening to right here is an example of building awareness for a brand, right? So right now, you are hearing me, you're getting to know Chad Bostic, and you're either agreeing with me or you're disagreeing with me. If you are a subscriber, you're listening to multiple episodes every day or every week, and you know that I have the 7-day-a-week podcast where most of the time I have a featured guest, and we're sitting here talking about, the past, the present, and future of technology on a Tech Thursday that they have experience with. And then every Monday is about motivation, Tuesdays about productivity, and so on and so forth. You're getting to know that by listening to this podcast. And so you're getting familiar with the Hello Tech Pros brand. And by getting to know the Hello Tech Pros brand, you know that Chad is an advocate for social anxiety. I've struggled with that in the past. If you didn't know that before, you know that now. And so you're learning a little bit about me, and you're becoming kind of a little bit warmer and warmer and warmer to know, like, and trust me. And so this is what this this layer of the stack, the customer engagement stack, is all about. The awareness is building more audience members that know, like, and trust you. So blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, social media, SEO, so search engine optimization. So when you think about your blogs or your website or any kind of online presence, you want Google to rank you high for certain keywords, right? So that SEO is very important. So there's a lot of topics, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of information out there. So many entrepreneurs are like, oh, you have to dominate SEO. If you dominate SEO and if you can get the number one ranking in Google for your keyword, then that will totally help your brand. And that's true. That's absolutely true. It's very important. However, it's not in and of itself, that doesn't do anything for you. Like, that's not going to convert into sales. And so if you're just doing SEO and you just have your shopping cart and merchant account on the other end, you're going to lose like so much potential revenue, because all these people are going to come, they're going to look at your thing, and then they're going to go away, and you're not going to see them again. So blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, SEO, and even just the little stuff, like when you think of brand, like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What are the colors, the logo, like the website layout, all that kind of stuff. We spend so much time thinking about that. I've got a good friend that, man, every time he and I talk about launching a new business or doing whatever, he has a lot more knowledge about graphic design than I do. So for him, it's got to be, it's got to look nice. If it doesn't look professional, if it doesn't look good, then we got to work on that area for a long time before we're ready to like publish it or put something out. Because, you can get a little anxiety there. Hey, if it looks like crap, if it looks like a newbie, if it looks like unprofessional, then people aren't going to take you seriously. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. I don't know. Kind of depends on who's looking at it, what kind of customers you're trying to get in front of, and the stage of your business. But all of this awareness is very important. And then there's the engagement, right? So when I say engagement, think of like social media, think of likes and comments and tagging. If people are interacting with you, there's a big difference between people seeing my podcasts or listening to the podcast and leaving a 5-star review on Amazon. Honestly, there's only been like 35, 40 people that have left a review on Amazon. I love you guys so much. If you want to, please help me out. Please. This is a call to action that I never do in the middle of a podcast, but it actually helps me build more awareness by getting more reviews on iTunes. Did I say Amazon a minute ago? I can't remember if I said Amazon or iTunes. It's been a long day. What I mean is 5-star reviews on iTunes. If I can get more reviews on iTunes, then iTunes search engine, kind of like Google search engine, will rank me higher when people are searching for entrepreneurship or technology or leadership or whatever, and I'll get more listeners, which is a good thing. So engagement is good. So likes and comments and tagging and reviews, even searches, right? Different than search engine optimization, different than SEO, but I mean specifically searching for your stuff because they know you have it. Like, hey, I know that Jim guy, he's got really, really good information on SEO, and I want to optimize my website for SEO, so I'm going to go to that Jim guy and check him out. Or, you know what, I am a huge fan of Pat Flynn, and so I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship. I've learned a lot about starting a podcast from Pat Flynn. So I want to search for Pat Flynn and see where else he's talking and what else he's doing. Does he have any products out? What new information is he in 2016 versus 2015, right? Specifically searching for a brand and finding information about it. Even old school engagement, like phone calls and text messages, right? That is still part of your brand awareness. People talking to you, people interacting with you. It's all good stuff, but it's not a sale, right? So that's the bottom of the stack. We'll go to the very top of the stack, and then we'll come back and hit the middle, which is the secret sauce that I think a lot of people miss out on. There in the middle. We'll come back to that in just a second. First, the top of the stack is the sales. And when I say sales, I mean specifically the e-commerce, and then after the e-commerce, the customer service, right? So e-commerce is so easy these days. Way back in the day, you used to have to do, oh my gosh, so much of your own form development, so much of your own, like all the payment processing and merchant account stuff was a pain 20 years ago. You don't have any of that stuff now. Dude, there's so many different options between, WooCommerce and PayPal and Stripe, and there's just so many different options that you can pick for your shopping cart, for your merchant account, for your payment processing, even big B2B integrations. There's just a ton of options. There's so many awesome innovators and entrepreneurs who have built plugins and integrations between systems that you don't have to be technical to put this stuff together, which is why back in the day it used to be tech pros used to do this, and now like anybody can do this piece of it. And since it's not really about the technology, it's about getting the right features and the right things in place to maximize the experience for your customer. There's a lot of business professionals or entrepreneurs who know nothing about technology who are dominating this stack and crushing businesses who start with the founders who come from a technology background, right? If the founders come from the background of whatever, software development or some kind of hands-on technology, and they're not thinking about the customer engagement stack, and they're thinking like, oh yeah, shopping cart, got it. Blog, okay, I'll put a couple blog posts out there, I'll put a shopping cart, and then I'm good to go, right? And then they launch their app, they launch their website, they launch their software as a service, and they go, where's the customers? Like if I build it, they will come, they're not coming. What happened? So what happens is we're missing a key critical piece right in the middle of this customer engagement stack, and that is the relationship with a customer. We're not building enough relationship with these audience members, these potential customers, to when they describe it in marketing terminology, is you go from a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead. And what they mean by that is cold means they know nothing about you. Like Chad who? Bostwick, Blue Stick, what? Hello Tech Pro, what is that? I've never heard of it. Right? That's a cold lead. They know absolutely nothing about you. A hot lead is like, oh my gosh, next time Chad has a product, like I'm buying. When are you gonna launch something, dude? I want to buy from you. Please take my money. Please take my money. Right? That's a hot lead. So it's kind of like dating, right? You are not going to go from a cold date, meaning, hey, I've never heard of this person before and it's a blind date, to, you know what I'm saying? A hot date without some relationship building somewhere in the middle, right? So we have to warm up our prospects. We have to warm up our potential customers to turn them into customers. And we do that with two things. Or you can do that a lot of different ways, but the two things that are the most important, the most critical, that I failed on in every single little thing that I've ever done, I failed in list and funnel management, list building and funnel management. So let me talk about that for a little bit. I've heard a long, long time the phrase, the riches are in the niches. The riches are in the niches, and the other phrase, the money is in the list. So what I mean by that is, or what I have learned that other people mean by those phrases is, the riches are in the niches. It kind of goes back to yesterday and Tuesday's podcast about really discovering your customer avatar. Like, who is that person that you're helping? How exactly are you going to help them? Like, what is the really, really deep problem that they have, right? You're not helping women, you're helping single moms. You're not helping single moms, you're helping single moms who have a career in finance with 2 kids and they're both in daycare, right? If you think of your customer like really, really niche down to that level, then you have a deeper understanding on what that single mom's career-minded, what are all the problems with her career and with her family. There's probably healthy eating, there's probably daycare, and there's travel, and there's vacations, and there's just so many different things, right, that she's struggling with. When you know that niche, then you can focus on the right problems to solve for the right customer, and then you can price it appropriately and you can get them to interact with you. So the riches are in the niches. The other one is the money's in the list. The money's in the list is one that I failed to capitalize on. I failed to understand for a long time. And honestly, that's been a very recent lesson that I've learned that has completely shifted around what I'm doing right now, specifically on this podcast, and what I will be doing in the future. So when I thought of list management, it's like, okay, I need a MailChimp or something like that. I need to sign up for them. And then you have like some sort of form on your site that says like, hey, subscribe to my newsletter. And then I don't know what to send out. It's kind of like you sign up for my newsletter, and then every now and then when you can think about it, you like send them an update and say, hey, like, have you listened to my podcast in a while? I don't know. And that's an area where I struggle because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I didn't know the purpose of it. I didn't value it. I didn't realize that this is a tool to build the relationship, to go from a cold lead to a warm lead to a burning hot lead, right? To increase that relationship level across my audience members. And so I have not done a great job in soliciting for emails, and I have not done a great job in collecting emails, and I have not done a great job of giving people a reason to give me their email. And that's the first thing you got to do, is you have to provide some sort of value that says, you know what, in exchange for your email, because I know you get a lot of spam, I know you get a lot of just junk mail that ties up your inbox every day, all the time. I'm not going to spam you, and I'm not going to give you junk. I'm going to give you something that's really, really valuable. So every business, every circumstance, every product, every brand has a different idea on what's valuable to your audience, right? So what's valuable to my audience, to you guys, it's completely different than what would be valuable to your audience in your business. So the money is in the list. It's absolutely crucial that from day one, when you first think about, I'm going to work on this idea, I'm going to work on this startup, now I know who my avatar is, and I'm going to start talking to them, that you start building your email list. That's absolutely step number one that you have to be doing, the most prioritized thing that you can be doing. Why is that important? It's because the next most important thing that you can do is start working on your funnel. Okay, when I say funnel, here's what I mean. I mean your email sequences, drip campaigns, and product offers. So if you think of it like an actual funnel, like you're collecting water, you're collecting oil or something, and you're trying to go from a big bucket into a small cup, right? You have to funnel it down. And I don't really like the term because, from a physics perspective, you're not losing water, right? If I'm funneling water down, you're not losing water. But when you're funneling your audience down, you're actually you're moving some of the audience members from cold to warm to hot until they're ready to buy, and others, they're just staying at cold, or others, they're going a little bit warm and then they're going, forget you. This is not really my jam. I signed up for the free thing because I thought it'd be cool, but you know what? I'm not taking action on it, or it's not really solving the problem that I have. So I'm going to opt out. I'm just going to ignore the emails and stop reading them, or now's not the time for me. That will happen. But this funnel is meaning that you have a big bunch of people, like say 10,000 people on your email list, and then you have maybe 10% of that's actively engaged in like replying to your emails, and they're clicking on your links and so forth. And so if you have 10% engagement, so you have 10,000 people on your list, you have 1,000 people engaging, and then 100 of those might buy the thing that you're selling. Right? So it might be 1%, or it might be 2%, or it might be 5%. And it sounds like crappy numbers, but really that's what marketing is all about. It's about a numbers game, and it's about slowly over the course of a long time turning more of those 1,000 people into those customers, not by saying, hey, now that you know me, buy my thing. You're saying, hey, now that you know me, let me tell you, I got this thing out here and it's for sale and it's $99. And it's awesome, and here's a bunch of reviews. If you're not ready to buy it, no worries. Here's some more free advice. Here's some more free content. Here's a funny story that relates to, the problem that you currently have. Here's a funny story about how I struggled with that problem. And oh yeah, by the way, I have this thing. It's $99. Or oh hey, it's on sale now for $49. And those conversations that you're having, the purpose is not to sleazy, salesy, kind of constantly spam and pitch your crap, right? Like, hey, $99, $99, okay, $79, can I get it 50? Can I get it 59? Can I get 59, 59, 40? Will you take a 40? Okay, $29 left offer. No, you're not trying to pitch them on this stuff. You're trying to really build a relationship with them. So get people on the list, and then the funnel is where you have your email sequences, your drip campaigns, your product offers. And we don't have a lot of time in this podcast to really go into how to do that. I'll try to say as much as I can in a short email. I'm going to provide you some really practical tips to think about and to work on the homework for today's episode. So if you want to get access to the homework, and if you want to get more information on how to build relationships with your audience members, how to really dominate this customer engagement stack and be well and above and beyond all the other technical professionals that are only talking about LAMP, or they're only talking about Python, they're only talking about whatever technology stack that they're talking about. If they're not focused on their customer engagement stack and you have a competing product, guess what, dude? It doesn't matter if your competing product is bells and whistles above them, bells and whistles behind them or not. If you have a better customer engagement stack, you will perform better. Your business will perform better. So I'll send you some homework on what to do to start working on your list and your funnel absolutely for free, like how you can get started in your early startup days for your business. Free tips on free technology and free tips in the email on how to set up this relationship stack, or this relationship layer within your customer engagement stack. So again, to sign up for that, go to hellotechpros.com/start. You're going to get my email funnel. You're going to see what an email funnel looks like. You're going to see exactly what an email funnel looks like and what this is all about by going to hellotechpros.com/start. Type in a real email address, because you're going to want to get the emails. First of all, because you're going to want to read them every day and follow along and get all the homework for every episode. But also you can kind of analyze my email funnel, my email sequence, my drip campaign for this free training that I've given you, right? So hopefully, if you're starting your first business and you are very confused about what to do, because there's so many different things and you hear so many different entrepreneurs giving different advice, this is my best practices that I've learned both from my hands-on experience as well as from the guests, all the different guests that I've interviewed on Entrepreneurship Saturday, which are my most popular episodes. I'm distilling all this information down into the 7 things, the 7 lessons that you have to learn in order to get your business really launched and off the ground. Not just work on another app, not just work on another website, but really identify who your potential customers are, who that audience is, focus on the right technology, engage with those customers, get people to actually buy your stuff, no matter what that stuff is, no matter what industry you're in. So again, to get access to my email funnel and find out like how I run an email funnel, and also get all of the different homework lessons, or all of the lessons and the homeworks for each one of those lessons, go to hellotechpros.com/start. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about selling, right? So at the end of your email funnel, you're going to have a product offer. You're going to say, hey, I've got this thing, it solves this problem, you have this problem, or you've told me that you have this problem by, clicking on this link or signing up for this email or engaging in certain ways. You have this problem, I have this solution, I'm going to offer it to you at this amount, and how to turn some of those audience members into your very first customers when you hate selling. Look, I get it. I know I am the world's worst about feeling like a complete dirtbag when I think about selling to someone. My social anxiety radar goes off the charts when I think about pitching and selling. But you don't have to feel sleazy. You don't have to feel dirty. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You're actually, when you do it the correct way, you're doing a huge service to these people. And if you do it the right way, they're not going to be, gosh, that Carrie girl, man, she took my money. She sold me a pile of stuff. No, they're going to say, thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much for providing the solution to me. I can't tell you how long that I've suffered with this problem, or how long I needed this thing, and I didn't even know that I need it until you came along and you educated me about this, and then you provided that offer. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how to find your first customers when you hate selling. Again, to get access to all 7 of these episodes, go to hellotechpros.com/start. And until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/207. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Minio Cloud Storage. Minio is a cloud object storage server for developers and DevOps written in Go. The Go programming language is the emerging language of choice for modern cloud infrastructure projects, and it allows Minio to be highly concurrent and lightweight. Minio is Amazon S3 compatible, built with microstorage architecture in mind, but at its heart, Minio is simple, scalable, and supported by a passionate developer and user community. In episode 89 of Hello Tech Pros, I talked with A.B. Periasamy, one of the founders of Minio, about the importance of community support and recruiting software developers who are as passionate about their product's code as artists are of their art. Check out that episode at hellotechpros.com/89 and check out Minio Cloud Storage at minio.io. That's minio.io. Are you new to podcasting? Are you looking for a fast, high-quality, yet budget-friendly podcast production team? Let TransSource Media take care of you. With a team of professional audio and video editors, writers, and graphic artists, they can help you build your podcast from planning, post-production, and platform submission. Using only cutting-edge software and studio equipment, they're here to make each and every show sound at its best. To get a free quote, please visit www.transsourcemedia.com or send them an email at marketing@transsourcemedia.com or call them at 209-505-5693. TransSource Media, transforming businesses through the power of multimedia. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Technology Thursday, but tomorrow my featured guest and I discuss people and communication. On Saturday, we talk entrepreneurship. Sunday, being unplugged. Monday, motivation. Tuesday, productivity. Wednesday, leadership. And back again on Thursday to discuss technology once again. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.